It's gonna be a chili day. These are all the bits you need. Well, some of them anyhow. Some of them are on sale, so I just bought them, and other things were just fresh. So let's get chopping. So as we progress, stuff all ready to be chopped. This is about 600 grams of, or 500 grams of mince. Frying pan for doing the mince. So I always do the mince separately in the frying pan and break it up into as fine a little things as possible. I'll give you a demonstration of doing that. We'll chop that up. We've got some garlic. As I say, we've got some ginger, and we've got some cayenne pepper, some paprika, 2 different kinds of paprika, chili powder. So what you do is make a little mixture of all these to create the sauce. We've got 2 lots of tomatoes, plum tomatoes, always plum because they're the best ones. Some kidney beans, some little other flavourings, and there'll be 2 little hot chilies which I'll put in as well. So the mixture of all of that lot creates a nice little thing, and you'll be cooking this. This is for batch cooking, by the way, so this isn't just a one-off meal. This is batch. Well, you know, there's nothing worse than mince that's too fucking knobbly. So you want it nice and fine, so cook it like this until you see the stuff bubbling through, and then I'll do a video of breaking it up. You know, some nice little artistic shot of some carrots. Carrots, lovely. So in the interests of, this is cooking away like this. You can see it's beginning to get dark in a few places, but I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm going to break it up, as I said. Carrots are chopped, scenic chop of carrots. Now, my 2 little pots of kidney beans and chickpeas. I'm just going to stick in here and just drain those out while we're waiting for everything else to cook. And just drain them both out, like that. And they're just ready to be tipped in when you need them. And my other real top tip is, if you haven't got ginger, don't bother making a chili, because it's all about the ginger. It's that long heat at the end that makes the big difference. Top tips. Okay, so this is the hard bit now. What you need to do is to break up and dice as finely as you can the meat. If you leave it long and thick, it'll taste like shit. So you need to break it all up into very, very fine things. So there's 2 cool ways of doing it. One, you can do it like this. Some people do it with a whisk, I've seen recently, that looks quite clever. But you need to get it into a real fine consistency. To be in this level of consistency, like really ground. Not like this, all thick, but really, really thin like this. Otherwise it tastes like crap. Also, if you noticed, I'm doing this in a fry pan, because at the end of this, after I've broken it all up into little bits, I'll then drain it to get all the oil out of it and all the fat out of it. So it becomes quite a lean piece of meat. And also that doesn't mean you get floaty stuff sitting on top of your chili at the end of it that looks like some slime has risen over your pots and made it look awful. So there you go. So I'll just keep doing this. Pizza bread here going on as well. That's nice. Here I am breaking up the meat. See how fine I'm getting it? If you don't do that, it's going to taste like crap. So it's worth taking the effort, and it's a bit of effort, and I'm afraid it is, but that's what batch cooking is all about. You're making it now, and you put a lot of effort in now, but then you just sit there and just eat it from the microwave for the next month. It's fantastic. So you're really breaking this up. See how broken up it is? Lovely. Now, if you remember where we started to where we are now, look at that. Lovely and fine. All chopped up neatly. And what I normally do is do this. scoop it to one side of the pan and then tip the pan up. And what you'll find eventually, depending on how good or poor your meat is, you will get all the fat that's been rendered dribbling down into the bottom half of your pan. And once you've got that, you can spoon that out and get rid of it, because you don't need that. That's just adding crap into your and fat into your meal that you don't really need. Okay, so we'll just leave that to rest like that a little bit and it will start pouring out. Now for chilies, you buy these on Tesco's in sale, Scotch bonnets. I'm going to put 2 into this much. There's quite a bit there. Put Scotch bonnets, and if you don't use them, you stick them in the freezer and then you can just chop them up frozen, which is perfect, so you don't get that stuff all over your hands. It's top tip number 5. See, all the fat's just coming out of it now. It's not bad because this is comes from the butcher's, so it's not as bad. But I'll tip all that lot away. Got a big pot here with all the vegetables in, and I'm just steaming these vegetables down. This is the critical part. You need to steam these down for a long time. I don't want them crunchy. I want them steamed. I want them soft. I want them maybe a little bit burnt, because not burnt or caramelised, gives a little bit more flavour. So we're just going to let those be quite a while, this many, for that to work through. So here we go. Still steaming down the old vegetables there. The garlic and ginger and chopped chilies are still sitting on the board because I'm going to put those in there at the end. The oven's on, set for about 130 I suppose in the fan, and then we're going to cook this in the oven at the end and let it all do. There we go. So as you can see now, the noise has changed. Now it sounds like I'm frying these rather than steaming them. So you can see the steam coming off there. They're nicely wilted now. And then in a few moments we can add all the other ingredients all in one go. Give it a go. And you have to break up the tomatoes. The big chopper here, just chop them up so you can get the stuff in like that. And you clean your tomatoes out. Put them in there. You need to do it for both of them. So 2 pots of this. So there you go. It's all mixed to 2 pots of water, all the vegetables, everything into one big blob. Now, to be quite honest with you, that doesn't look very attractive. So next steps are we start adding in our powders. So let's give it all the flavour we need, and then we'll stick it in the oven. And we'll stick it in the oven for a long time, yeah? Maybe an hour, 2 hours, something like that. And let those flavours just create themselves. So, it's going to be a fair bit of stuff that you need to put in here. So, I'm going to have to get my extra camera person to give me a hand here. So here we are with the mixture of thingies. So first of all, I don't really measure this, I do it by colour, okay? So we'll put a couple of those in there, maybe 3 of those. I don't know. So that's paprika. We'll put some chili powder in. Probably about equal amounts. And then we'll put some cayenne pepper in. Probably half of that, because that's pretty strong. Put some. Basically, what you're doing is you're just making a little paste up. Put some tomato puree in there. I've got some smoked paprika here. Put a little bit of that in as well. It's got a different colour to it. And then, normally what I do is I just do this and I just mix it all these powders, flavours into it. And then I'll stir it up and then I'll look at the colour of it and thinking, does that colour look right? Bearing in mind I'm going to cook this for about a few hours. See how the colour's changed there? It's gone from kind of like that watery looking concoction actually now to and it's beginning to smell really good as well. The smell just starts pouring off it once you've got the and with everything else in there, maybe that's probably enough. Maybe, yeah, we'll give that a go. So, I say there's no rhyme or reason. You just use what you've got. If you don't have paprika or you don't have chili powder, you put cayenne pepper in, or you just make a mixture of all the different flavourings you have. There's no right or wrong to this. It's either be too hot or it won't be tasty enough. That's it, really. Oh, and I'll put a bit of. I normally put this in at nearer the end, but I'll stick a bit of this in as well, because it adds a little bit of a flavour to it. And of course, some balsamic vinegar, because you always put balsamic vinegar in things. We'll put a bit of balsamic in there as well. That adds some depth into the flavouring. We might add a little bit more in at the end. And it will sweeten. What it'll do is just give it a little bit of a sweeter edge to it with the balsamic vinegar. And that's it, basically. Oh, and salt and pepper, obviously, because you always need salt and pepper. And if you've got black peppercorns, all the better. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. But all these little things add a little bit more depth into the flavours. The more depth you get, the more flavoursome it is. Are you bored holding that camera again? Now, don't tell Tanya, these are my secret ingredients that I put in. Now she's gone. So I put a little, maybe half a tablespoonful of sugar and a big squeeze of Marmite. But don't tell anybody. Secret recipes. Okay, now that has warmed up and we started bubbling on the top here, that means on the stove. I'm going to stick it into the oven, and now I stick it in the oven I'll stick it in for an hour and then give it a stir at 130ish, and then I'll do it for maybe for another hour, give it a stir, and that just makes the flavours just come out fantastically. So take your time, there's no rush with this one. This is something that you set off running during the day, cook during the day, and then it's ready for you when you need it in the evening.